accountable. I agree with them. I agreed with the Republicans when they said they were going to hold him accountable last time. My problem is this. Next time, let's say you guys get in power. How can we trust that you guys are going to do what's necessary with the next DOJ? Because it doesn't seem like we're going to get the DOJ to do anything this time. I think we probably both agree on that. How can we trust the next DOJ to take the proper action and hold people accountable?
Well, I think you have to look at the record. You can trust people like Massey and me. We didn't politicize this. We said whoever...
Yeah, Massey's done a great job so far. He unredacted the files where now they're including Leslie Wexner as a co-conspirator. So shout out to Thomas Massey. W. Massey for that.
Is implicated, needs to pay the...
And can they just fucking say it's Israel? Like, why is everyone afraid? Like, why is nobody saying what's so blatantly obvious?
Consequences. There are Democratic donors like Bill Gates that are in the files. They need to testify. Keir Starmer is someone I knew. I met with him. He's someone who shares. I celebrated when he won. I have no sympathy for Mendelsohn or the Starmer government. I have no sympathy.
Keir Starmer's in the files?
Donors or big tech folks, some of whom who have supported the party, who are in these files. I have said that President Clinton should testify.
Wait, Keir Starmer, Prime Minister of the UK, is in here? What the fuck? Whoa! What? Huh? What? Am I Jester maxing? You knew this was here? Oh, he just, this is April 2025. What the hell? Hooker compensation, scumbag. Okay, let's look before 2025. Where's Keir Starmer? Like, take it or leave it. U.S. nuclear issue is the wrong strategy. Where's Keir Starmer? Did he go to a party or anything? A lot of this is from 2025. Am I in this? No. Nick Fuentes. You live to fight another day. You live to fight another day. What about Aiden Ross? Ross. Okay. Anyway.
And he is. So Massey and I, the reason we've been successful is we haven't made this about Donald Trump or Bill Clinton or politics. We haven't made this Republican or Democrat. We have said wherever the facts go, that's where we're going to go. If it takes down the Democratic donors, it's going to take down the Democratic donors. If it's going to take down Republicans, it'll take down Republicans. And why do you think other people haven't been willing to do it? Because we made some very powerful enemies. There are a lot of billionaires and people in this Epstein class who are against us. So I don't think you can trust a party per se, but I think you can trust people who have a track record of standing up for doing the right thing.
I want to go to the July 2025 systemic review the FBI claims it did. They made a bunch of surprising findings because later they were revealed to be, in my view, false. They say, one, this systemic review has no incriminating client list. Well, we see internal slide decks basically from the FBI where very prominent names such as Trump, Jess Staley, Leon Black, Wexner, Bill Clinton, a bunch of people have pretty shocking allegations against them. It goes to another part of their memo. They said there's no evidence that's going to predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. Why not even investigate? That's kind of my problem.
You have hit the nail on the head. None of these rich and powerful people have even been asked under oath why they were on this island. What did they see? Who were the girls?
Someone in the chat said, fuck Coffeezilla, he dissed Tate. Nigga, Tate dissed me, faggot. Fuck, I'm on YouTube. God damn it, I have to edit that out now. My cortisol got spiked by some chud.
They've just escaped, not just prosecution, they've even escaped investigation. And the Department of Justice could open the investigation tomorrow into these people. And people say, well, why are we obsessed about something that happened years ago? First of all, the survivors deserve justice. And it's very callous for people just to say move on. But the second thing is, if we live in a society...
Oh, now look at this chud. LMAO, I own you. Okay, well, what else is this guy saying? Keir Starmer tried to arrest the Tates. Nigga, fucking Andrew Tate blamed me for a song. So, like, what? Keir Starmer tried to... You're so sensitive? Get the fuck out of my chat. Get banned for life.
People think the rich can just get away with things because of who they are. The powerful can just get away with things because of who they are. That you don't have a democratic government.
The Epstein files, why it's so frustrating is it's exposing a justice system that has two different classes. For the weak, you have laws that bind but don't protect. For the powerful, you have laws that protect and do not bind. I mean, do you agree this is what we're seeing with the Epstein files?
Yes, it's two tiers of justice in America. That's why I came up with the term Epstein class. If you're part of this rich, powerful club, then
What club is that?
you feel like you're above the law.
Speaking of accountability, I want to talk about, one of the claims by the Justice Department. I mean, they say there's no credible evidence Epstein is blackmailing individuals. This is a huge problem because the FBI basically failed to get a bunch of CDs, hard drives that later were found removed from Epstein's properties. But, there's this email basically Epstein sent himself about Bill Gates, where he alleges that he facilitated trysts with Bill Gates. Bill Gates denies this, but it reads as straight up blackmail. It's like, you need to give me X millions of dollars. Otherwise, something's going to come out. Well, here's my problem. And this is what I'd love for people like Gates to be asked. He says he separated himself from Epstein. And then it turns out he sends a $2 million gift to MIT directed by Jeffrey Epstein.
Just like Howard Lutnick. I was so disgusted by him. Here's a boat to your island and $2 million.
So if he had nothing to do with it, this wasn't blackmail, why is he sending a $2 million gift? I mean, are we going to ever have it make sense? The gaslighting is what bothers me. You brought up Howard Lutnick. He says, oh, I was so disgusted. And then he's found to be in business with the guy. Like, I just don't like, and I don't think anyone likes, being lied to, especially by people in power.
The world owes an apology to Muslims. The world owes an apology to because everything that they're saying about Muslims for a long time, about what PBD and that narrative is, it's now applicable to the people that dominate the Epstein files. And come on, you can make the connections. Everything that they said about Muslims is what is in the Epstein files. Everything. It's time for everybody who bought that propaganda after weapons of mass destruction over the last 20 years, all that propaganda that was really being pushed by Israeli media, overwhelmingly dominating in American media. Time for everybody to be like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was wrong.
And people who are making decisions sort of for the rest of us. Bill Gates has enormous influence. The idea that he would...
Muslims base, but pork is delicious. Hey, not to be a chud, but Jesus didn't eat pork, dummy. Okay, pork's delicious. Pork's delicious. Jesus didn't eat it.
Be kind of, compromised by some of these things is very alarming.
It is alarming, and that's why he needs to come under oath and answer these questions. That's why there should be an investigation where he's asked by the Justice Department and Congress. And I say this as a Democrat. I mean, he supported a lot of Democrats, but we need fundamental accountability. It can't just be about Lutnick because he's in the Trump administration. It needs to be across the board, regardless of people's politics. And the issue in terms of what Epstein was and what he was doing, look, even my law doesn't allow for the release of classified information. You can't in Congress declassify things. That's the rule. But what we need is a president who actually appoints someone who has credibility in the military or in intelligence to look through the classified information and
Pam Bondi
make a public report of what Epstein did and whether there was anything there. And that person has to have incredible credibility.
And I'm still banned on Twitch. My Twitch ban is still being reviewed. Holy moly, bro. You think we're going to get it or no? Or are we fucked?
Until then, there are going to be both rumors out there and conspiracy theories out there and legitimate questions. But that won't be answered just by my law. We need actually a commission that can look through the classified
information. Did you see Ada's committee yesterday saying I'm anti-Semitic? It's like, really, guys? Like, really?
Stole that shit.
Like, really, bro? That's what... Anyway.
I'm glad you brought this up. One of the questions is, why did the plea deal in 2008 happen? Why did it seem like every time there was going to be something happening, it seemed like some bigger players were reaching in? The CIA was FOIA'd by Jeffrey Epstein about Jeffrey Epstein, and they basically denied it. They said, hey, we can't confirm or deny any classified evidence that we may or may not have on you. The NSA basically did the same thing. This is a big problem was
Coffeezilla is surprising me. He's actually he's a pretty good journalist and a good interviewer.
Epstein working for our government or foreign governments? This is something that's kind of speculated about a lot. There's a lot of emails with connections with powerful world leaders where Epstein seems to be in some type of
Say it. Ehud Barak. Say it. Netanyahu. Say it. Coffeezilla. Say it. Ehud Barak.
Unofficial capacity. I mean, what do you know, if anything, about this?
I generally don't have insight into his relationships other than to say it's odd that he's got pictures.
Someone in the chat just said, I got sex teams in Israel. Really, bro?
Stole that shit.
What the fuck?
CIA. It's odd that he has relationships with so many world leaders, that he is getting access from Gordon Brown's trade secretary about what purchases UK is going to make in the financial markets, that he has access to what India's prime minister is going to do in the United States or Israel, that he has access to an Israeli former prime minister, so much so that Netanyahu is making statements about the former prime minister's relationship with Epstein. I mean, how is this person as connected? Actually, that's one of the questions I want to ask President Clinton.
Chat saying Ehud Jirak. Ehud Jirak. Like, what else are you chatting? Ehud Jirak. Coffeezilla in the White House. Coffeezilla in the White House. I need Family Guy Subway Surfers now. Actually, this chat is funny, bro.
It's like, who is this guy? You know, or Trump, or in our classified information. I mean, why is this guy as connected as he is? People say, oh, he's just a collector of influential people. I know a lot of people who network in Congress. You know, I try to network. I don't know all these world leaders. I know a lot of people who network in Congress. You know, I try to network.
Goomba? Are they now? Think about this.
I don't know all these world leaders. You don't get there just by networking. There's something else going on.
That's a great question. I have the same question. I mean, it's a very strange thing.
I'm
You
a
know, I
networking
want to
guy.
talk about Trump's relationship with Epstein for a second. You know, there have been a lot of revelations from the files, a lot of weird behavior from the president, who normally is unbothered by anything press related. And yet we just had something come out very interesting. It seems to be a 2019 interview with the Palm Beach police chief, Michael Ryder. And he said that basically Trump blew the whistle on Epstein's activities and said, thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone has known he's been doing this, saying Maxwell was evil. You know, this definitely surprised me. I'm not going to lie. I said to myself, why didn't they? If I was there, I'd put that out sooner. I mean, I'm just kind of shocked that that was in there.
Hey.
But also, it seems like later he said he didn't know what was happening.
At the time, did you know why he was taking those young women?
No, I don't know really why.
So, I mean, what do you make of this? Were you surprised?
No, I had no idea. He was a terrific guy. Great guy. It's almost a quote verbatim. Great guy. He was. He had a lot of girls, young girls, some of them very young. Extraordinary. Jeffrey, terrific guy.
I was pretty shocked. I was like, what is this? I don't know what to make of it, really.
Yeah, I was surprised. I said on its face, it looks like a good thing that he was saying that Epstein should be held accountable. I wish more people had done that. I guess the questions for President Trump is why did it continue, and does he know other people who were abusing these?
Chad, would you rather have Jews or Jeets in charge of America?
I apologize by says love for one of your intros. Love from Jamaica.
Are you ready, kids? I can't hear you. Oh!
Girls, and what else does he know
Are you
about Epstein's
regulated?
relationships?
Regulated.
But, you know, on the face, that one call is it seemed like the right thing to do.
Yeah, it was weird. Well, it also made me wonder, because in 2002, there's that birthday book, right? 2005 or 2006, it looks like he calls and says, hey, we all knew this was basically going down. So glad you're taking him down. I mean, the whole thing is very confusing, actually. I don't know if we're ever going to get the truth on that, maybe. But, you know, Ghislaine Maxwell is an interesting character because he says, oh, she's evil. Well, he was friends with her for a very long time. Now she seems to be playing a part in the game. I mean, I'm sure you've seen this. Ghislaine Maxwell basically said through her lawyer, I will clear Trump and Clinton if pardoned. I mean, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Well, I was in her deposition. She said, I want to pardon and I'll clear Clinton and Trump. But she also says, give me clemency and I'll name all the other people who were these young girls. I mean, come on. She's basically saying, okay.
She's doing mafia tactics. She's saying, if you give me freedom, I'll give all the names. I'll give it up. I'll rat.
You want to know who these people are? Get me out of jail. And so it's the most corrupt thing I've seen. And this is why we know there are other powerful people, right? Because we know Maxwell is saying it. The documents are saying it.
Do you remember that crypto millionaire who the last thing he tweeted before he ended up drowning? He said, CIA and Mossad are running a pedophile blackmail ring out of Puerto Rico. They're going to plant a laptop on me. I will be drowned and tortured to death. The next day he died. That was the last thing he tweeted. And he was saying it was Puerto Rico. That's not Little St. James Island. Imagine how many other of these operations are running.
The survivors are saying it. And the only two people who are in jail, one is dead, Jeffrey Epstein, and the other one is
Allegedly.
Maxwell.
I mean, I want to put a finer point on that. Actually, Maxwell's life got better after the Transparency Act, which, I'm happy about the transparency, but just on stating on levels of fact, since 2025, the only person who's ever faced real accountability on Jeffrey Epstein, her life has gotten better. The survivors' lives have arguably gotten worse. The DOJ failed to redact a bunch of stuff and expose them to the world. I mean, it just seems like this is my problem, and it leads me to the question of, we kind of...
Yeah, right. If we're gonna torture terrorists for the war on terror in Guantanamo Bay, why... I'm not advocating for this, but shouldn't someone like Ghislaine Maxwell be brought to Guantanamo Bay to torture the shit out of her? Hypothetically, I don't advocate for that. But if you're going to say, like, okay, we need a war on terror and terrorists should be waterboarded to get information out of her, why don't they apply that same logic to this?
Started. It's great that we have transparency. I love the
No, that's wrong. Okay, then don't do it for terrorists. What's the point of having Guantanamo Bay if you're not going to use it when shit hits the fan?
transparency. But where's the accountability, right?
Well, you're absolutely right. But this is the first time any survivors seem heard. This is the first time that we've actually had a government take action and release these files after decades. This is the first time that there's a conversation, at least, about elite accountability. Now, that conversation, as you pointed out, is going very differently in Britain and Norway and other countries. And the question is America going to pass the moral test? Are we just going to shrug and say, no, these people are too rich, we still want their money, we still like hanging out with them, they fund too many of the nonprofits, they fund too many of the universities and fund too many of the hospitals. And so, you know what, we're going to give them a timeout. They need to go quiet for a year or two, and then they can rehabilitate themselves? Or are we actually going to have accountability in America where they are stripped of their position, where they are investigated, and where, when crimes have happened, they're prosecuted? And that's an open question, because so far we have not seen the accountability.
Well, also the FBI, for as long as I've been sort of watching what they do, they're sort of the world police. I mean, unlike other kind of national agencies, they don't just concern themselves with what's happening in America. They go after people internationally, right? It's very clear that Epstein's organization was an international operation. Even if you're trying to make the claim that he was trafficking to himself, there were other people assisting in that, right? We see in the files, Epstein was paying a guy named Daniel Syed, who's not dead yet, who to basically go scout for women, right? And those women later, they gave their passports, and later they were brought to America. So all this stuff is in the files, this international ring that was going on, whether or not you want to say he was trafficking to himself. I mean, do we even have the gumption to target that? I hate to put it so crassly, but I feel like people just want a scalp. I mean, that feels bad to say. We want justice, but even symbolic justice would be better than this.
Someone's head, allegedly, in my opinion, needs to roll down the White House steps. One of these pedophiles just there needs to be a public execution. People are not going to be satisfied until there's a real justice.
Right, which is basically, we released everything and we get nothing.
And that's why I went and gave the 6 names this morning on the floor of the House. I mean, many of those names are foreigners, but they were listed as co-conspirators. And the question is, are we going to have justice?
GG, black SUV on the way. All right.
So, one of the survivors told me
I'm just joking.
The person who her when she was 17 happened in France, and that this person has left both France and the United States to evade the prosecution of the authorities. And so the question is just, are we going to care enough to get justice? Because you're right, it's not just justice of famous names that were caught up in all of this. There are a lot of people around the world who are caught up in these girls, and these women want justice. They don't want just a shaming of famous names. They want their accusers held accountable. Think about it. For 20, 30 years, they've seen these people accumulate wealth, fly around, escape any accountability, and they were treated as disposable, as that they didn't matter, as if they were just objects for the gratification of rich and powerful men.
Perfectly said. The final question here, what's the worst thing you've seen in these files?
I've seen some pretty sick things. I mean, just the grotesque nature of what they did to young girls. I mean, it's much worse than just
like worse than a poop festival.
I mean, it's violent, it's ugly, it's sick, and that is just stomach churning. And then the scale of it. I don't think people understand how many of these young girls were caught up in this. And the class issue is at the core of this. That's why.
Here's the obfuscation. The class issue is at the core of this. No. It's not a class issue, bro. It's not a class issue. Oh my God, I hate, like, they're redirecting. And he's not going to name,
We're caught up in this. And the class issue is at the core of this. That's why I said Epstein class, because a lot of these girls were working class. A lot of them didn't have fathers.
These are Hassan Piker talking points. No, it's not a class issue. It's not capitalism, communism. It's not the working class. And no. No. Why is this going on? Why is he saying goy? Who was he working for?